It was designed to smash bunkers, not tanks. Yet by the end of World War II, the German StuG III had destroyed more enemy armor than any tank on either side, credited with a staggering 30,000 kills and built-in numbers surpassing 10,000. This wasn't Hitler's flagship Tiger or the iconic Panther, but a low-slung assault gun born from Erich von Manstein's vision, rushed into a new role when Soviet T-34s exposed a fatal German weakness. So how did this humble battlefield outsider become the deadliest tank killer of the entire war, and what hidden consequences did that leave for both sides as the conflict escalated? World War I had left German commanders searching for a way to bring artillery forward with the infantry. The heavy guns of the last war had lagged behind, unable to keep up with the pace of an assault or to break open bunkers and pillboxes when it mattered most. In 1935, Erich von Manstein, then a colonel in the General Staff, put forward a proposal that would reshape German battlefield support. He envisioned compact, armored vehicles mounting artillery pieces, able to move with the infantry and deliver direct fire on hardened targets. This new idea, Sturmartillerie, was not about tanks leading the charge, but about giving infantry their own mobile firepower. Von Manstein's concept landed on the desk of General Ludwig Beck, who saw the value in a dedicated assault artillery branch. Beck's support ensured the plan moved quickly through the system. Daimler-Benz received a contract on June 15, 1936, to develop such a vehicle, with two requirements that would define its shape. It must fit a 75mm gun and its height must not exceed that of a standing soldier. The Panzer III chassis, already in development, offered a reliable base. Instead of a turret, engineers designed a fixed, armored casemate to house the crew and gun. By 1937, Alket had produced 5 prototypes. These early machines, known as the Zero series, featured mild steel superstructures and the short-barreled 75mm StuK 37L/24 gun. The focus was on high explosive firepower, ideal for blasting bunkers, machine gun nests, and field fortifications at close range. The StuG III, as it would be named, was not built for tank duels. Its job was to smash through obstacles that stopped the infantry, to clear a path with direct fire where indirect artillery couldn't reach. The low silhouette, dictated by the original height requirement, made it easy to conceal behind a hedgerow or a rise in the ground. The fixed superstructure gave the gun a stable firing platform, and the Panzer III's suspension kept the ride steady over rough ground. Early crews, drawn from the artillery branch, trained to deliver precise, deliberate fire in support of the attack. With these 5 prototypes, the German army had its first taste of what an assault gun could do. A new tool for a new kind of war, waiting to prove itself on the battlefield. The first months of Operation Barbarossa exposed a problem that the German command could not ignore. Soviet T-34 and KV-1 tanks appeared in numbers the Wehrmacht had not anticipated, shrugging off hits from the standard 3.7cm and 5cm anti-tank guns. German units reported their shells bouncing off sloped armor, while the Red Army's tanks returned fire with deadly effect. The original StuG III, with its short-barreled 75mm L-24 gun, found itself outmatched. Designed to blast bunkers, it could not reliably penetrate the T-34's frontal armor, even at close range. Crews resorted to flanking shots or waited for the enemy to make a mistake, but these were desperate measures, not solutions. German engineers responded with urgency. By March 1942, the StuG III howitzer F rolled out with the new 7.5cm StuK 40L-43 gun, a longer, high-velocity weapon adapted from the PaK 40 anti-tank gun. This upgrade changed everything. The L-43 could punch through 91mm of armor at 500 meters, enough to defeat both T-34N and KV-1 tanks from combat distances. Within months, production shifted again to the even longer L-48 gun, which further improved penetration and maintained accuracy at range. The StuG III, once a tool for infantry support, became a dedicated tank destroyer almost overnight. This new firepower came with a compromise. The longer guns fired armor-piercing shells at higher velocity, but their high explosive rounds carried less charge than the original L-24. The result was a weapon that excelled at knocking out tanks, but lacked the blast effect needed to clear bunkers or suppress enemy infantry as effectively as before. German commanders now had to choose: send the StuG III to hunt armor or hold it back for its original support role, knowing it would struggle against hardened positions. The shock of Soviet armor forced a doctrinal rethink. The StuG III's transformation was not just a technical fix, but a shift in battlefield priorities. By the end of 1942, most new StuGs left the factory as tank destroyers, their crews trained to ambush enemy armor from concealed positions. The gun upgrade solved the immediate crisis. German units could once again meet Soviet tanks on equal terms. But the trade-off in high explosive firepower meant a new gap had opened, one that would soon require its own answer. German assault gun tactics relied on patience, concealment, and fire discipline. The StuG III's low silhouette made it easy to hide behind a hedgerow or the crest of a hill, giving crews the upper hand in ambush. From these positions, the fixed gun mount provided a stable platform for accurate, long-range fire. German manuals stressed that the StuG should not hunt tanks in the open, but wait, camouflaged and prepared, to strike enemy armor as it advanced. This approach played to the vehicle's strengths and minimized its greatest weakness: the inability to traverse its gun quickly in a close-quarters fight. The value of the StuG III was not just in its design, but in the numbers that rolled out of German factories. More than 10,000 were built between 1939 and 1945, making it the most produced German armored fighting vehicle of the war. The production cost was another advantage. At 82,500 Reichsmarks for a StuG III Os of G, it was significantly cheaper than a Panzer IV at over 100,000 Reichsmarks and a fraction of the cost of a Tiger. The four-man crew, commander, gunner, loader, and driver, meant less manpower was needed to field a battery, and the shared chassis with the Panzer III meant spare parts and maintenance was straightforward. Training could be streamlined, and mechanics already familiar with the Panzer III could keep StuGs running with fewer delays. Alket in Berlin was the main producer, responsible for most of the output, but this concentration had its risks. In November 1943, Allied bombers hit the Alket plant hard. Production plummeted from 255 StuG IIIs in October to just 24 in December. German planners scrambled for a solution. Krupp, already producing the Panzer IV, was ordered to adapt the StuG superstructure onto the Panzer IV chassis. The result was the StuG IV, which entered production in January 1944 and helped fill the gap until Alket could recover. This quick pivot kept assault guns flowing to the front lines, even as the bombing campaign intensified. The combination of tactical doctrine and industrial scale meant that, by 1944, StuG battalions could be found supporting nearly every major German formation. The numbers mattered. A weapon is only as effective as its availability, and the StuG III's blend of concealment, firepower, and mass production gave German defenders a tool they could rely on, even as the front lines shifted and resources dwindled. With side skirts added to counter Soviet anti-tank rifles and a price tag that allowed for quantity over luxury, the StuG III became the backbone of Germany's armored defense. Kharkov, February 1943. In the bitter cold outside the city, the Grossdeutschland Division's StuG III battalion took up hidden positions along the expected Soviet advance. Over several days of fighting, these assault guns claimed 44 T-34 kills, while an equal number of Tiger tanks operating nearby were credited with just 30. The difference came down to tactics and terrain. The StuG's low hull let it disappear behind snowbanks and rubble, its gun stable enough for a first-shot hit from ambush. Soviet crews, advancing in columns, often spotted the Tigers first and opened fire at distance. Against the StuGs, they rarely saw the threat until it was too late. Leningrad, summer 1943. Tu-26 faced wave after wave of Soviet armor, pushing to break the siege. With only 41 StuG IIIs, the battalion destroyed 221 T-34s and KV-1s for just 13 vehicles lost. German after-action reports credited this to careful camouflage, precise range-finding, and a doctrine that demanded patience, waiting for the enemy to close before firing. The result was a kill ratio that few armored units on any side ever matched. Across the Eastern Front, the story repeated. By the end of the war, German records credited StuG III crews with approximately 30,000 enemy tank kills, more than any other German armored vehicle. The numbers, while sometimes inflated in the chaos of battle, were backed by consistent results in unit diaries and after-action summaries. The StuG's blend of firepower, concealment, and stability made it the weapon of choice for defensive tank killing. Yet the StuG III was never invincible. Its fixed gun meant slow reaction if flanked, and in mobile fighting, it could be caught off guard. But from prepared positions, the evidence is clear. The StuG III outperformed heavier, costlier tanks in the role that mattered most to German defense, stopping enemy armor. Its record at Kharkov and Leningrad stands as proof. The Wehrmacht's most produced armored vehicle was also its most effective tank destroyer, not by myth, but by the hard arithmetic of battlefield results. By war's end, over 10,000 StuG III assault guns had left German factories, more than any other armored fighting vehicle in the Wehrmacht arsenal. After-action reports from battles like Kharkov and Leningrad document entire Soviet tank units destroyed by StuG ambushes, with claims of up to 30,000 enemy tanks knocked out across the Eastern Front. What is clear from production logs, battlefield diaries, and cost reports is that the StuG III's low silhouette, effective optics, and affordable price made it the backbone of German anti-tank defenses. Today, historians agree the StuG III was not perfect. Its fixed gun limited flexibility, but no other German armored vehicle combined numbers, reliability, and lethality as it did. Its legacy endures as a case study in how adaptation, mass production, and focused doctrine can reshape the outcome of modern armored warfare.